The heavy emitting sectors such as steel, cement, chemicals and aluminium are a major source of global greenhouse emissions. They've come under increasing pressure to accelerate their way to net zero emissions. Although we're still a considerable distance away from our ultimate goal, net zero emissions, there are encouraging signs of progress in this sector. Continued advancements each year build on our confidence to enable further innovations that accelerate the industrial deployment of decarbonisation technologies. In celebration of the trailblazers spearheading this transformation, Mission Innovation Net Zero Industries, a joint initiative backed by 9 countries and the European Commission, has instituted the Net Zero Industries Award. The laureates we're acknowledging today are not just recipients of a prize, they stand as pillars of inspiration. The outstanding projects, the female innovators, and the promising young talents that we will be recognising today exemplify the change we strive to see in the world. So let's draw inspiration from their remarkable achievements and persist in our quest for a sustainable future. Welcome to the Net Zero Industries Award 2023.
Yes, when we announced this award this year in July, we did not know what we can expect. And we were, let's say, very surprised about the high response. We received 66 submissions from all over the world. And today we will present you the winners. And what the success of this, let's say, response shows us that the innovators are out there and they are willing to share the information with us and showing their projects and what's going on in the innovation regarding net zero industry decarbonisation. And now, before we proceed to revealing the winners, I would like to give the floor to 2 dedicated innovators and climate advocates who I'm very excited, I'm sorry, who have been instrumental in establishing the Net Zero Industry Mission and the Net Zero Industry Award. These are the 2 ministers of the co-lead countries, Austria and Australia. And let's hear from the responsible ministers about, let's say, what the opening regards regarding the Net Zero Industry Award ceremony. And I start with the host of the ceremony. Please welcome Chris Bowen, the Australian Minister for Climate Change and Energy. And the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Elvina. Thank you and welcome to the Australian Pavilion. Leonora and I, when we launched this in Pittsburgh last year, joked that the reason we would do this together is because everybody confuses Australia and Austria anyway, so we might as well just work together and get the job done. But of course we have more important reasons than that as well, also because Australia and Austria are both industrial countries with proud industrial heritage, proud histories of making things that are used right around the world, and we want to always be that. Our 2 countries want to be industrial powerhouses, but we want to be decarbonised industrial powerhouses. We want to seize the opportunities of a decarbonised world and make things, not just make in Australia's case, make renewable energy, but make the things that make renewable energy and make so much more as well. But increasingly, as we all know, consumers and investors will demand that this be happening in a decarbonised way, in a carbon neutral way. And it will only happen in countries which have the right policies to achieve that outcome. And I know that Australia and Austria will have that outcome. And so this is a very important collaboration for me personally, for our government, The awards we're presenting today are very exciting. Sometimes people ask me, you know, what do you find the most inspiring about your job? What do you find the thing that keeps you going? And I say it's just the innovation, it's the ideas, it's the technology that's emerging every day. It's just getting better and better every day, and there is such wonderful scientists devoting their lives to this task, and we're celebrating 3 of those today, which is good. But also today, Leonora and I are very pleased to announce on behalf of our 2 governments that we are jointly funding a call for projects to see industry decarbonise. $20 million, which we are jointly funding, the Austrian government and the Australian government together. We are calling for expressions of interest for innovative decarbonisation projects in heavy industry. We will jointly work through those and award those as part of the mission. It's a very important collaboration for us. Getting industrial emissions down is a very important part of our climate policy in Australia. We have passed our industrial reforms, we call them the safeguard reforms in Australia, passed them through the Parliament, through both houses of Parliament. Probably the hardest thing I've done in politics is getting the numbers, getting the support in the Senate to get that through. But we got there, but we need to then also provide the new technologies, the new decarbonisation pathways. So I'm very pleased and proud to be partnering in doing this with my friend, my colleague, my comrade, Leonora. We are such close collaborators, and we want to see the Australia-Austria partnership just grow and emerge, and these aren't just words. This is a very real partnership that we're taking to the next step today. I'm very pleased to join with Leonora to celebrate these 3 innovative scientists and technologists, and also to work together on the next phase, which is this funding for big decarbonisation projects, which is so important to our joint decarbonisation journey. So thank you to Leonora for coming to the Australian Pavilion, and thank you for your partnership and friendship as well.
Thank you very much. And now a big applause for Leonora Gewässer, the Austrian Minister for Climate Action.
Thanks a lot, dear colleagues, dear esteemed innovators, dear laureates, and welcome also from my side to the first ever, this is a world premiere, so to say, first ever Net Zero Industries Award ceremony. Dear Chris, I can only give the compliments back. It's really been a pleasure to work together to come to this point, to have this award. To come to this point, to launch a joint call for proposals beginning of 2024, which is just the next logical step that we're doing together. It's really an absolute pleasure and privilege to work with you. And thank you for hosting us at this wonderful Australian pavilion of yours. It's a pleasure to be here. Today we're, of course, also celebrating this great partnership, but of course, we're gathered here to celebrate award winners, to celebrate and recognize exceptional individuals who drive exceptional projects, to celebrate organizations who've done the crucial steps in this transformation journey, as Chris just put it, that have made significant strides and significant progress in industrial decarbonization. Their work is not just worthy an award, which we'll hand over today, but it's crucial for this planet. And as we know, whether in politics or in real life, actually getting the projects on the ground, industrial decarbonization is heavy lifting. This is a really challenging task. It's a task that is a big lever for our endeavors towards climate neutrality, but it's a challenging task. And but on the positive side, it's really one of the biggest chances for innovation, for new ideas, for doing things better than we used to, but doing things in a different way than we used to. And that was also why Austria, together with Australia, took the lead in this net zero industry mission, because we believe in the power of innovation in this, we believe in sustainability and our common road towards a good future that absolutely needs industrial decarbonization. So today we are presenting this award in 3 categories: outstanding projects, female innovators, and young talents. And each of these 3 categories represent a crucial pathway or a crucial aspect of this journey towards a good future. The role of female innovators and young talent, I don't think I need to explain in this arena. It's critical. It's critical to have fresh perspective. It's critical to have innovative ideas, and it's critical to have the drive of young innovators to do this heavy lifting with us. I'll put it like that. And this was part of the idea behind this award, to really give this a stage, to raise the awareness of what's already being done in terms of Net Zero Industries mission among our different groups, to identify and bring to the stage flagship projects that already exist now, not somewhere in the future, but now, that already deliver now, and to also motivate even more young talent, even more also women to go into the field to work towards a good future. So as we proceed with the award, and as we are at the crucial COP and at the crucial point in our history, let us remember that whatever we do towards decarbonizing, whatever we do to phase out fossil fuels, whatever we do to increase our decarbonized energy base and towards renewables is a step towards a healthier, a safer, a more sustainable world and a better future for all of us. So let's celebrate the people, the persons, the organizations who already do these steps now. And with this, I'll leave the stage for the real celebrities of today. I have to.
Yes. Is this possible?
Yes.
Or you have to leave?
No.
Okay.
No, I will not leave. We will not leave before we hand over prizes. That is a very politician thing to say and do now, I think. But we'll be very happy to hand over the awards.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. And yeah. That's what we want to hear. And we start with the already announced category of young talents, and we have a very short video where you see the three.
The finalists in the category Young Talents are Dr. Suniti Purohit for inventing an emission-reducing route to process iron ores. Dr. Lucas Kasper for his research on improving thermal energy storage via storage retrofit and digital twin technology. Dr. Serene Salmon-Locke for her work on novel computational inventions to predict membrane performances for CO2 capture.
Now, I hand you over. Let's say we do it like at the Oscars.
We do it. This is our microphone for the award. For the whoops. Ladies and gentlemen, I get to start. I get to pronounce the first winner. Yes. Oh, thank you for giving me that honor. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute pleasure to present this award to a distinguished researcher and innovator who's shown an unwavering commitment to her work and is doing that currently at CSIRO in Australia. Happy minister next to me. The winner of the 2023 Net Zero Industries Award in the category Young Talent is Dr. Suniti Purohit.
Now, I get to tell you a little bit about Dr. Purohit's work. She's dedicated to creating sustainable methods for iron and steel production, which is so important for our decarbonised future. She developed a low-temperature iron ore agglomeration technology during her PhD at Swinburne University. This technology can potentially reduce CO2 emissions by up to 32% with future use of hydrogen. She holds 2 patents and has published several papers and has already received numerous awards, and she receives a very important one today. Congratulations.
It's heavy lifting. It's heavy lifting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Just 1 minute for an acceptance, and then we continue.
Do you want us to hold?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for this honor. I don't know what to say. I'm so excited right now. Well, I always wanted to, I always dreamt of winning a Nobel Prize. And I think after this, I will never dream again because I already won something so big. And of course, this is not just my win. This is the win of all these hardworking talents who are working to decarbonize our heavy industry. The award is for all of us. And I have a lot of people to thank, and I have very little time. So firstly, I would like to thank my PhD supervisors, my CSRO colleagues for all their guidance and support. Most importantly, my family and friends, and my dear husband, who is most probably, or I think I'm pretty sure is watching it live from Melbourne. And it's almost midnight there, and also our wedding anniversary. So this gift is for him, obviously. So thank you so much, and it's a really honor to be here.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. The next award is the Female Innovators.
The finalists in the category Female Innovators are Professor Mercedes Marolto-Valer, Champion and Director of the UK Industrial Decarbonisation Research and Innovation Centre. Dr. Ekaterina Kravchenko, Postdoctoral Research Fellow at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Sophia Hamblin Wang, Chief Operating Officer at MCI Carbon.
And the winner is Professor Mercedes Marolto-Valer. She's a world-leading energy innovator specialising in decarbonisation, energy systems, CCUS, integration of hydrogen technologies and sustainable aviation fuels. In her current role as Director of the United Kingdom's Industrial Decarbonisation Research and Innovation Centre, she's leading the UK's largest industrial clusters towards creating the world's first industrial net zero cluster.
She brought her fans, well-deserved so, because I will tell you what the jury said. And I could already see that when we met just a minute ago. She's really an inspiring example for a successful career in research and innovation, but her commitment to equality, diversity and inclusion goes beyond that. By deliberately showcasing diverse role models for decarbonization and placing women in key positions in her team and promoting young talent, she's creating equal opportunities and laying the foundation for the best talent to work on the decarbonization of the industry. And since many of us women in the sector spend a lot of time in rooms with a lot of men, I really want to laud you, no, laud is not an English word, but I really want to congratulate you on that endeavor. It's very much needed. We need the best talent regardless of the gender. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you so much. It's not just being the first recipient, but also doing it in a place like this that is going to make it so much more special to remember the occasion. And it usually happens, one is not here because just yourself, but because of a huge team and collaborators that you have behind. So I do want to thank them for all their support over the years. It's been really my pleasure to work with them, and I would not be here, clearly, without them. The other thing as well I want to thank is to Mission Innovation for actually being and taking the leadership in what is a really difficult sector to decarbonize, but also I think it's a sector that can bring prosperity in our journey to net zero. And last but not least, of course, it's going to be to my family for all the support, unconditional, to many, many late nights that they have to put up with me, but they've really been my inspiration. And as they say, you know, if you dream it, you will achieve it. So thank you so much, and it's been a true honor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now it's the third one. We present a short video of the winners.
The finalists in the category Outstanding Projects are Carbon to Business Legerdorf, Holcim Germany GmbH, CARF 20 Metal Organic Framework for Carbon Capture and Removal, University of Calgary and Svante Technologies Inc., Canada. Building the future of e-waste recycling to accelerate circular green metals. Mint Innovation, New Zealand.
And the winner is, it's my absolute pleasure to present the award to a project that really embodies the spirit of innovation. The winner of the Net Zero Industries Award 2023 in the category Outstanding Projects is Carbon to Business Legerdorf from Holcim GmbH Germany. The project at Holcim Germany's facility in Legerdorf aims by 2029 to be the first carbon neutral cement plant in the world. Congratulations.
So the jury found that the project presents a completely new full-scale process in the cement sector. With this carbon capture and utilisation project, Holcim is creating new value chains and developing technologies to enable the decarbonisation of other industrial sectors. Lind Engineering and Thyssen serve as important technology partners for the project, and here to receive the award on behalf of his company is Pavan Chilakuri, Vice President and Global Head of CCUS at Holcim.
So without decarbonizing building sector, we will never meet net zero, because building sectors contribute 37% of global emissions. And we will be building a New York City worth of floor space for every month for the next 40 years. So without decarbonizing building, there's no way we will meet net zero. And Holcim is on the mission to decarbonize building. We've committed 2 billion Swiss francs into CCUS investments, and we are unlocking, we will have 5 million tons of carbon capture capacity before 2030 and produce 8 million tons of zero carbon cement. And award like this recognizes our boldness, and recognizes all the hard work that went into making this happen, and recognizes the support that we receive from our partners as well as other industry partners in the region. Thank you once again for the recognition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pavan Chilkuri. And a big applause to the two ministers for being here and celebrating the award winners with us. And you have to leave now because you have other tasks in COP. I think you have to negotiate important things. And not just party. And yes. Thank you. I'm only party overflow. Thank you very much, and a lot of success for the negotiations, and hope to see you next year again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Passt, ja, genau. I say thank you to the ministers still here. And now we move on to the next part. It's the panel discussion where the winners will have more time to present themselves their visions and their projects. And the moderation of the panel discussion will be done by my Australian colleague, Alec Monaghan. He's the Global Mission Coordinator, and in his daily job, he's Senior Vice President of the Global Technology Expert Solutions Team for Worley. Alan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alvaro, and thank you, Ministers. I'd like to invite up on the stage, if I could please, our three winners. First, please, Suniti Purahit. Mercedes, please. Mercedes Matato Vala. And Pavan Chilakuri. Apologies if I've ruined any of those pronunciations. Everyone, please, a congratulations for our winners. Grab a chair. Wow. I'm actually very proud of you all, and it's fantastic that you actually both entered, and it's great to see that you've won. What we'd like to do is we just ask a couple of questions, just dig a little bit deeper if we could, find out more about who you are, how we got here. Can I start with Suniti?
Sure.
Please, please.
I hope you all can hear.
Just, it's turned on, just... what would be good and helpful, I think, is if you could actually explain to us all a little bit about your research and how it plays that pivotal role for us in the decarbonisation of iron and steel.
Sure. So as you all know, the starting point for making steel is the iron ore, right? So iron ore is basically iron and some dirty materials like oxygen, aluminum, silicon and all. So the way we make steel is by heating these iron ores at really high temperature, currently by supplying carbon. And carbon takes out the oxygen, right? And that's how we make steel. Now, in this whole steel making value chain, there is actually a process where we deliberately add oxygen to the iron ore, and that's in the current pellet process. So, which is crazy, like, because we have to add additional carbon to take that oxygen out later on. So, the process that we have invented that actually avoids this oxidation stage, and instead our process operates at about 300 degrees centigrade lower temperature than the current one. So we use lower amount of fuel and hence lower carbon dioxide emission. Now for the future net zero scenarios, of course we can use our process for the transitional iron making stage as well as the future net zero processes using hydrogen or potentially solar flux as well. And for Australia, it can be another advantage because we can also process and have a pathway for lower grade iron ores and make them a shippable, better quality, low carbon footprint product, and we can ship it to the whole world. So that's about it.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Suniti. Mercedes, if I could jump to you next. I think it's fair to say that you're already well renowned. I think what we'd all like to hear is perhaps if you could share like one or two key events, key decisions perhaps in your career that have actually helped you get to admirably where you are today.
Thank you. That was really kind words. I think maybe it all really comes from being very curious about learning, about understanding why things work, or many times why things don't work as well. And really it's getting that curiosity that probably has driven me to where I am today. But I think in terms of Eureka moment, and particularly contributions on industrial decarbonisation, has been coming from a place that understanding technologies alone are not going to make it. We need to make sure we understand the whole system in which technologies operate. And coming from quite an interdisciplinary background, and understanding different opportunities, but also the challenges associated with them, I think have been really critical. Within my center, IDRIC, nowadays we work more and more with technologies, but also understanding the business models, the policy, the regulatory framework, because at the end of the day, we need to get technologies that become solutions. And I think this really coming from a very multidisciplinary background and even broadening more and more over the years, but really starting with a point of curiosity about why things work and how we can make them better.
Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Pavan, jumping to you. Now, the Carbon to Business project obviously is going to be one of the world's first and by its description, one of the most innovative to actually hit the cement industry. Could you share with us perhaps one or two of those key barriers that we know are out there for all other projects that you've been able to address and overcome for us in actually delivering this project. Well, it's not finished yet, but in actually getting this project authorised and getting it up and going with its key targets in place by 2029.
So let me just quickly give a background on what the project is about. We are hoping to capture 1.2 million tons of CO2 and convert that into plastics and chemicals, feedstock, as well as the aviation fuel. So in order for that project to happen, we rely on some company installing new offshore wind and another company converting that offshore wind into hydrogen and oxygen. And we take oxygen, increase the concentration of in the kiln, thereby capturing the CO2 more efficiently and selling our CO2 to someone else who is going to take the CO2 as well as the hydrogen that was produced by somewhere else, convert that into plastics and chemicals feedstock as well as aviation fuel, and the aviation company off-taking that. So this is the ecosystem that we had to work with, an ecosystem outside the battery limits of the cement facility. Holcim, we've been in the business for almost 100 years. We are damn good at what we do. We produce cement. That's all we do, right? We produce cement and then we sell it. And we have no experience with hydrogen. We have no experience with carbon dioxide converting and chemicals or anything. So I think now what was the main challenge as well as an opportunity for us was to break down the barriers and work with other industries which we are not used to, the business models we're not used to, and co-creating the entire project and aligning our business criteria and with their business criteria and aligning our business plans with their business plans was one of the funnest thing which we did. But also, of course, it needs every one of us to shed our competitiveness, but instead embrace collaboration. And that is what I feel was the main barrier, but the barrier that we overcome.
Thank you so much for that. Obviously, the common theme here is that no one makes it there by themselves, do it? How we're all going to be working together, how we're all going to be helping each other is one of those absolutely critical themes, not just for each of you, but for every single one of us in this journey of industrial decarbonisation. Thank you for sharing. Let's jump to a second question there, if I could. And we're going to go back to Suniti for this. Where you are now in your career, what advice could you give to others in similar situations to achieve what has admirably been achieved by yourself at this point in your career? What would be the key takeaways or achievements or challenges that you'd like to actually suggest to others to take on as well?
Well, I think first and foremost, we all need to accept it that climate change is a man-made problem, and it is our responsibility to decarbonize our industry. So after we accept it, we can actually wholeheartedly work on whatever field we are working at right now. And I think we should not wait for some changes to happen after 5 or 10 or 15 years, for technologies to be invented or policies to be changed. I think we all can start acting right now because the climate clock is ticking and there is not much time left for us. I think even if, let's say, you are not working in R&D or in industry or you are not in any ministerial board where you can take the decision and change the policies, I think as an individual, we can do a lot of things. For example, just going in a car for one day, taking public transport, skipping a day of your, the delicious meat and just going vegetarian just once a week or so, recycling stuff. A lot of things that we can do, and I think the time to act is right now, and we all have to do our part to it. So let's make it happen.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Let's jump now to Mercedes again, please. Now, we have a category for young innovators, and we have a category for female innovators, because the role that each of those categories can play is critical. To draw upon a challenge this large requires us to ensure and in fact promote that we actually draw upon the full capabilities and diversity that can actually be brought to the problem. Could you, for example, give some specific actions or events in your career that is actually going to help us drive up diversity and inclusion in delivering the solutions that we need?
Yes, thank you. I mean, we were talking before about the need for these teams, multidisciplinary teams, and I think together with that and alongside is really making sure that the teams are diverse and inclusive. And we do have a lot of work left to do in that space. I think it's clear that there is particularly around minorities, female, disadvantaged backgrounds. We don't have all the diversity that we need. And I think we need to consider that's part of the solution, really. And if we don't bring everybody on board, it's going to take us even longer to get where we need to be. And if there is something we don't have in this energy transition to waste at all, is time. So we need to bring really all the backgrounds, all the different ways of thinking together in this transition. In terms of specific examples that you were asking me, I think we need to really start with our own teams. And that's something I've been really very much constructing and engineering how your own team is around you. Because if you don't do any interventions, this is not something that's going to take care on its own. And if it does, it may take too long. So starting with your own teams, how do you shape your teams to make sure that you have that diversity of thought, that you have female including there, that you have backgrounds? That's really important. And then you can start also looking, and I have to say both back my RCCS team and my IDRIC team, they're really diverse and it's something I'm very proud of. But then you can start looking then also farther afield, what you can do to influence, go to schools and talk to school children about the opportunities, how fascinating this journey is, and really we need to get those messages. This is a fantastic journey we can take together. This is full of challenges but full of opportunities. So schools are really important, nurturing the talent, and then from a very selfish point of view, if I may, I think that the biggest legacy we can leave behind us is one of talent. It's one that really, we'll actually perpetuate with more talent being brought to the journey that we have to take together. So that's for me really important. All the way from what you do in your own team, try to go to a broader picture there. But really, it just fills me with satisfaction to see the talent I have been able to bring to the table.
An excellent point. Indeed, how we motivate more people to actually come to help us address this problem is going to be a key element, I believe, of our success. So thank you. Pavan, let's jump again. Last question for us for today. Wholesome's obviously leading by example. The world, and in fact, industry across the world, needs to actually step up and take more action in terms of industrial decarbonisation, and everyone needs to pitch around and help. What could you actually suggest there for us in terms of a message to colleagues, competitors, etc. in the industry to actually help follow as quickly as possible in the footsteps of Wholesome?
I think I always live by a saying, it goes like this, you cannot whistle a symphony, you need an orchestra to do it, right? So climate change is an immense problem. No company cannot solve it alone. And cement company is no exception, right? So we strongly believe that we only be able to achieve our net zero pledge only if we work with the players outside of the cement sector and at the same time collaborate and with our competitors as well. So that is what we have done in this project, where we have collaborated with outside of industry with multiple players, and that is exactly what we are doing in each of the CCUS projects which we have, collaborating with the renewable power companies, collaborating with CO2 transport, CO2 shipping, and carbon dioxide sequestration companies and chemical companies. So without that, we could never do that. I think in order for you to do that, collaborate, there needs to be a fundamental change. No longer you need to focus on competing with your competitors or competing with other players as a net zero game, but instead collaborate and see how you can create value. And for this project, it is quite profitable for us to execute this project, and we could have not achieved our objectives if we had stick to our own traditional ways of doing things. And that is the reason why I'm super excited about how my team has collaborated with partners, Linde, a Thyssen Group, who could not be here today, but yeah, I'm proud of them. And that is something which I would say we need to do more of.
An excellent point. It's often been said to me over my career, in order to achieve any strategy, change is essential. You can't do what you did before and expect a different outcome. So thank you for all of our award winners here for sharing those insights with us. If I could now hand back over to Elvira Luther, Mission Director.
Yeah, thank you very much. Big applause for the... the first winners of the Net Zero Industry Award. And thank you, Ellen, also for the moderation. And we have learned today that the Net Zero Industry Mission is a powerful coalition of 9 countries and the European Commission. And the members supported us extremely in order to promote the award, and that's the reason why we received 66 applications from all 9 member countries. And to honor this exceptional work and to show, let's say, the innovation leaders of all 9 member states in the 3 categories, the jury selected the top-ranked submissions, so the so-called national winners. And in the, I have a short video again, the last one I promised to you, where you see
the member
national
countries
winners.
of the Net Zero Industries Mission would like to highlight the following submissions as the best national submissions. In the category Young Talents, national winner Australia, Dr. Suniti Purohit. National winner Austria, Dr. Lucas Kasper. National winner Canada, Hui Hang Ho. National winner China, Dr. Miao Zekai. In the category Female Innovators, national winner Australia, Sophia Hamblin Wang. National winner Austria, Dr. Gabriela Straker. National winner Canada, Dr. Sabare Rezai. National winner China, Professor Shengping Wang. National winner Germany, Dr. Victoria Osadnik. National winner UK, Professor Mercedes Marolto-Baler. In the category Outstanding Projects, national winner Australia, MCI Carbon Plant, MCI Carbon. National winner Austria, AHEAD Advanced Heat Pump Demonstrator, Takeda Manufacturing Austria AG. National winner Canada, CARF 20 Metal Organic Framework for Carbon Capture and Removal, University of Calgary and Svante Technologies Inc., Canada. National winner China, Comprehensive Utilization of Industrial Exhaust Gas to Yield High-Valued Chemicals, Tianjin University. National winner Germany, Carbon to Business Legerdorf, Holcim Germany GmbH. National winner USA, the Forterra Reading Recarb Plant, Forterra. Honourable mention of the jury, a 5-ton per day CO2 capture from blast furnace gas, Tata Steel Limited.
And now it's the last point of the agenda of today's award ceremony. And as you heard, Mission Innovation is a global forum for governments committed to clean energy innovation. And I'm very happy that Julie Sekura, I hope I pronounced it right, she's the chair of the Mission Innovation Steering Committee, is with us, and she's also Principal Duty Assistant Secretary of International Affairs of the US Department of Energy. And she will highlight the role of mission innovation, which, let's say, influenced us in the development of our mission, and she will also deliver the closing remarks. The floor is yours.
Well, as the chair of Mission Innovation, I just really want to celebrate the incredible achievements of the Net Zero Industry Award winners. Thank you so much for the work that you are doing. Just congratulations. You are really the pioneers that are propelling us toward a clean energy future. I also want to thank Australia and Austria for leading this mission, and also for announcing the $20 million contribution. That is amazing. That is going to really inspire and reward further innovation of some of these frontier technologies. So thank you so much for that. The Net Zero Industries mission really has big goals to develop and to also demonstrate cost-competitive solutions to decarbonize hard-to-abate and energy-intensive sectors. And this award, of course, is the first of its kind for Mission Innovation, so you are really setting the bar high for the rest of the missions. So we're going to make sure to let them know what has happened here today. There's no denying that we are in a race. We are at a pivotal moment to keep 1.5 degrees within reach. And that's going to require deployment that is rapid. It's going to require innovation at a pace that we have not seen before. So according to the World Resources Institute, industrial processes are the fastest growing sector for greenhouse gas emissions. They've increased by 203% since 1990. That's crazy. Today, energy use in industrial processes accounts for 1/4 of global greenhouse gas emissions. So the work that you all are doing and that you're being recognized for is more critical now than it's ever been, and that we have to recognize the challenges in the sector. So thank you again for the work that you're doing. Each project and each innovation that we're honoring today is a building block in the collective effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and to combat the climate crisis. Rapid energy innovation is the engine that will drive development and deployment of clean energy solutions at the speed and the scale that are affordable, attractive, and accessible to all. And that is really at the core of mission innovation. And that's how we're going to accelerate progress towards net zero. It's how we're going to meet the Paris Agreement goals. As our secretary, Jennifer Granholm, says frequently, it's time for us to get to work, and that's exactly what these winners have done. They've embraced this challenge head on, not just for yourselves, but also for the world. We're grateful for that. Their work reminds us that change is possible when passion, innovation, and commitment converge. And it's integral that we showcase how developing technologies can be successful to transform our energy markets, and the Net Zero Industries mission is doing just that by really highlighting the outstanding work of projects like Carbon to Business at Holcim, that is working to demonstrate the first carbon neutral cement plant in the world by 2029 at the German facility. That's very ambitious. Can't wait to see it. And what makes this celebration even more special is the diverse tapestry these awardees represent. Today, we're witnessing the power of young minds and women who are playing critical roles in these transformational efforts. To young professionals like Suniti, your enthusiasm, fresh perspectives, and your relentless determination of sustainable energy is an inspiration to us all. You're the driving force behind the evolution of a clean energy transition, proving that our future is in capable hands. And truly, I am so humbled by your achievements, and I'm just thrilled to see what you're going to do next. And to the women like Mercedes who are standing tall, your presence underscores the importance of diversity in shaping our environmental landscape. And it's why we need more women at the table. Your achievements are breaking barriers, reinforcing the idea that inclusivity propels progress, not only in leadership, but also across our teams. And just to sort of reflect a comment that you made, we want to leave a legacy of talent, and that's what you're doing. So thank you for being a role model and how we can do that effectively. So as this event comes to a close, I just want to thank all the winners for being a catalyst of change that our world desperately needs. May your steadfast dedication be a driving force in helping us all reach net zero. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. We are now very motivated to do a good job also next year. And now we are concluding this award ceremony. We hope to see you next year at the second edition of this award. And we can't wait to welcome new remarkable individuals and companies like the 3 winners presented today to our group of winners. And big thanks to everyone who supported us in this work today, for the jury, of course the winners doing the application, Ellen, Julie, the ministers and the staff for the ministers, and yes, that's it. Hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.